What's a man now? What's a man mean? Is he rough or is he rugged? Is he cultural and clean? Now it's all changed. It's got to change more. 'Cause we think it's getting better, but nobody's really sure. And so it goes around again. But now and then we wonder who the real men are. Whoa, whoa. BOOZHOO! Welcome back to the show. Today we're going to discuss what does it take to be a man? What does a real man? I was hoping to get more clicks off my last title. It was something like, "You make me feel like a natural woman, not a transgender." And I was hoping somebody would go, "Hey man, transgender or natural women?" But nobody cares. But today, what is a natural man? Winini. Today's Ojibwe word of the day. Inini. Man. And so Joe Jackson in the 80s asked the question, what is a real man? Is he rough and is he rugged, or is he cultural and clean? You know, to be a man, is a real man like a soldier, a warrior? Does a real man get his hands dirty, work, break his back in the fields? Or is a real man a gentleman, somebody who's educated and wears a blazer? Some people say a real man is a provider and a protector, you know, like a husband. You're not a man until you're a husband and a father, till you have somebody to provide for and to protect, you know. I like this idea that they say women are born, women are, made, but men, how's this go? Women are created, men are made. Like, you don't just get to become a man through age. You have to make yourself. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, but I heard this guy say on a video, he goes, every woman wants to have a family. You know? At the end of the day, they all want babies, and they all want a man, and they want a home. And, getting those things will make a woman. But a man needs to, build a home for his woman. And he needs to provide for his children. He needs to protect them. It is his job to protect the family. So, I don't know. I don't think I really started becoming a man until I was in my 50s, to tell you the truth. I was an aging boy for many years. Some men, still play with their stuffed animals and puppets and stuff well into their 50s. Can you imagine? Nope. I became a man. I don't know. They say men are all on a quest. As boys, we have this fire in the belly. And it's different for everybody. But what men are really after is, not just the family, but to become men. To become this idea of who we are. To grow and to become, usually the best at something. A young boy thinks, oh, you know what? I love football. I'm going to be a football player. But he doesn't think, oh, I'm going to be a guy sitting on the bench. He thinks, oh, I'm going to be a Super Bowl quarterback. And his quest is, to create himself. Men have to create themselves. And for some of that, it's, for a lot of guys, it's, working out or, getting a position in a job. I don't know. I think it's lots of those elements. Are you a man? What does it take to be a man? I don't know. This isn't very funny, is it? All right. Let me think of something funny. A funny joke about being a man. Winnie, man. So like Spider-Man. Peter Parker was only 16 when he came up with that. He didn't call himself the Spider Teenager. He didn't call himself the Spider Boy. He was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be Spider-Man. The spider part is only part of what gives him his powers. It's his internal battle. Asa Bagey, Winnie, the Spider-Man. Okay, for those kids, if you haven't heard this before, this is the story of Asa Bagey, Winnie, Spider-Man. Back in the days of the grandfathers, there was a young boy named Peter Parker. And Peter Parker just loved science. Every day he was in studying his science books. He was doing experiments with his little, home set, whatever that thing's called. Where you make matches and that. And one day he went down to the science fair. And he was just excited. They were going to do an exhibit on radiation. So he goes down there. And he's watching this exhibit. But what happens? An Asa Bagey, a little spider comes right through the radiation. And in comic books, when something gets radiated, it takes on magical abilities. In real life, if you radiate a spider, it's just going to be like microwaving it. You're just going to make it hot and kill it. But in any case, spider goes through the radiation and lands right on Peter Parker's hand, and it bites him. And he's like, oh, geez, there's a glowing red and blue spider on my hand. I hope that's not going to turn into something. But he goes home, and geez, he's all feverish and sick, and he goes, hey, Aunt May. Oh, and by the way, he lives with his Aunt May and his Uncle Ben. It was just the three of them. They were a happy little family. And so he goes, Aunt May, I'm all sick. I'm going to go to bed. And he goes to bed. And in the night, he has these crazy dreams. And when he wakes up, he's just buff. He didn't even have to work out. And he puts on his glasses, and he doesn't even need his glasses anymore. And he's like, look at me. I'm all muscular now. And then he goes out in the street, right? And a car almost hits him, so he jumps. And he flies across the street like 20 feet, and he lands on a wall. He's like, look at me now. I can climb around on the walls, and I can jump real high, and I'm super strong, and I'm super fast. So he thinks to himself, how can I use these new powers to get a girl? And he goes, you know what? I need a nice car. I know. I'll go down to the old All-Star Wrestling rink there. They have, you can wrestle for money. And I'll go in there, I'll wear a mask. No, it's me. And then I'll beat up some wrestlers, and I'll get some money, and I'll buy a car. And then I can really impress that Mary Jane. So he goes down there, and he's wearing a ski mask. And he signs up to fight the All-Star wrestlers. And the fight begins. And he just wails on these guys. And, Peter Parker's not real big, but he's real fast. And he's real strong. And so he just, those guys didn't have a chance. And he goes down to the promoter to get paid. And he goes, hey, man, I beat up them guys. Can I get my Junia? Can I get some money for this? And the promoter's like, get out of here, kid. I'm not giving you nothing. And Peter Parker just mad. So that's not fair. Oh, geez. And he walks out. Well, pretty soon, what happens? He hears some steps running, and he can hear the promoter yell, "Hey, stop that guy! He just stole my money!" And there's a guy, one of the All-Star wrestlers. He had stolen a bag of money, and he was running right towards Peter Parker. And Peter Parker says, "Well, what do I care? You didn't even pay me." He goes, "After you, sir. Have a nice day with your bag of money." And he let him go. So he's walking out in the street, and he sees a crowd up there. And he runs up there, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And who's there? It's his old Uncle Ben, and he'd been shot. And he goes, "Uncle Ben, what happened?" And Uncle Ben goes, "Peter Parker, I just got shot by an all-star wrestler. He was carrying his bag of money." And then he died. And Peter Parker goes, "Oh, that was the guy. If I had just stopped him when I had a chance, I could have saved my Uncle Ben's life." And he gets up with tears in his eyes, and he goes, "I will avenge my poor uncle's death by fighting crime from this day forward." Well, I'm going to go home and I'll make a suit, kind of like tights and a mask and stuff. Oh, it's going to be nice. It'll be like red and blue. But after that's made, like starting tomorrow maybe, or the day after, I will be Asa Bagey, Winnie. I will be the Spider-Man. And sure enough, he went on to be the Spider-Man. And this has been the story of Asa Bagey, Winnie, the Spider-Man. So there you go, kids. If you want to know how to be a real man, you've got to read comic books. All right. Anything else? No, that was pretty good. All right. Well, hey, you guys. Just want to say, miigwech, NANABOOZHOO. Thank you for watching. BOOZHOO, NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am NANABOOZHOO, and I will see you again. GOFUNDME, Minowa, Awa. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to our channel. Miigwech. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. And if I made you feel second best, girl, I'm sorry I was blind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely nights. And I guess I never told you that I'm so happy that you're mine. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. But you were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. And give me one more chance to keep you satisfied. I'll keep you satisfied. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind.
Ah, that was beautiful, Michael. Hey, thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lyons, let's hear it! And you have been watching BOOZHOO, NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Natasha. This is Michael Lyons, and I will see you again. Gigawapamin, Minowa, Hawa.